I was just going to say, I mean, a lot of times we're asked, do you go recruit businesses? Mm-hmm. And I think, we would agree that sure, we actually do go recruit. There's unwritten laws or unwritten rules that you don't go to your neighbor, Tulsa, Catoosa, Jinx, Bixby, whoever, Owasso. You don't go steal businesses from them. But if there's businesses that want to expand into Broken Arrow, say they have a Tulsa location and want to get another location, of course we go and help them understand what's the loops to go through, who to talk to, where to start with a business in Broken Arrow. So, do we recruit? Absolutely. Do we do it professionally? Of course.
Mm-hmm. One aspect of recruitment that maybe the general public wouldn't really understand is the recruitment process can be quite simple in that you just make an informal sort of contact with somebody, or it could be more formal to where you're actually targeting a company or a business. Companies, it's not as easy as simply walking in and say, hey, we'd like to have you in Broken Arrow. These companies, especially major companies, have a corporate plan. It's usually of the 5 to 10 year kind of thing. You have to fall within their mandated demographics. Mm-hmm. Sometimes those are not met. And then I know Steve and I both have been involved. We're getting a really cool, actually they're open, a new business in the Rose District. And that conversation started 2 years ago. And I know Norm, when he was serving as economic development director, he worked on the Tiger Hill development, I think 5 years. So it's just simply not as easy as coming in and just, being welcoming and saying, hey, we need you.
So you can't just call up one of these big business names
it's
and say, hey.
difficult. It's actually very difficult to get into decision makers. Mm-hmm. It's virtually impossible to just cold call a major company or a chain of stores.
Mm-hmm.
I'll add on to that. Brent mentioned that it's we're really blessed in Broken Arrow. We have one of the best police academies in the state. We were voted the top 11 in the nation, the least amount of crime, and so that alone attracts people. That alone attracts businesses, and then our roles, and correct me if I'm wrong, but our roles are really just to kind of walk them through the rest of the process to get into the city with a pre-development meeting or where do I go for my permits, or kind of hold their hand and help them along the way. And I don't know of very many other cities that do that.
No, and we, not to pat ourselves on the back,
yeah.
But quite frankly, we do both pride ourselves, and our department prides ourselves on customer service. Mm-hmm. And we the city offers free of charge, which not all cities do. We have pre-development meetings prior to a business coming in here, especially if it's new. Mm-hmm. And we do. We, for a better lack of words, we do try to babysit them. We'll walk them over to City Hall, get them in contact with who they want. I think it's a part of our organization that's almost being lost, and especially for the size of city that we have. I think I have a lot of pride about that. Mm-hmm. So,
and something I've noticed you all do a lot, you mentioned the pre-development meetings. I've also seen you guys do pre-development meetings where you are doing those hand-holding meetings and looking at their business plans. And that's really not in your job description in a lot of ways. It's just you guys serving the community at a higher level.
That's kind of novel for us, really. It's not official. It's kind of unofficial. The pre-development meeting would be somebody that has a concept, maybe doesn't have a business plan, maybe has not bought property, maybe is looking at a piece of property, and to try to help them avoid spending a ton of money on architectural renderings and plans and an engineer and that sort of thing. Sometimes, unfortunately, they meet with planning and they say, well, they see how difficult it's going to be to implement their concept. So it does serve a good role to have the pre-development meetings. Maybe that needs to be named something a little differently. But
and that probably comes from both of you have owned businesses in your careers, so you have that knowledge and history and career behind you to help these people when they're going down similar paths as you both.
I think both Steve and I would say that background is good. I think we both approach our positions and what we do in a manner of what we have actually talked about this. What would we have liked to have had in a person or a contact when we were in business? And I don't think either one of us maybe had those contacts, but so we try to be that person that we maybe needed when we were in business. So maybe I'd still be in business.
I can remember going in front of Incog in the business I started and scared to death. I mean, sweating bullets, just not knowing what to do. And had someone walk me through that and said, it's really not that bad. Here's the questions they're going to ask, and you just need to provide the answers. It's about that simple. But it was very daunting. It was scary.
And for the folks at home, Incog, I might get this wrong. No, I just wanted to make sure and throw that. Is it the Indian Nations Council of Government? I did it.
Good
yeah.
job.
So I just wanted to toss that out. I know that's a term I've heard, but for the folks at home who don't live in our world.
And kind of just a point about, recruitment, once again, not appearing to be bragging about Broken Arrow, but it's hard not to sometimes. A lot of what comes in here, the majority of what comes in here is not really solicited. Steve and I attended Oklahoma Department of Commerce kind of a presentation, and one of the things I think they listed as number 2, quality of life as a means of recruitment, and how important it is, and we have a great quality of life, and that sure helps.
And what was it, 15 years prior to that, quality of life was down, listed number 8 or 9, and it just shows you how things have changed, that quality of life is now number 2 on the importance list.
Mm-hmm. And on that, this is where I kind of have a question for Steve primarily, is how much of your job would you say is, recruitment and retention, and how much is just filling vacant spaces that we have in our areas? And I ask you specifically, I think you know why.
Sure. Well, you kind of need a little preface to that. One of my responsibilities is the New Orleans Square area, which is 101st and Elm. And around 2019 is when I took that over. And there was about 53% occupancy with the businesses in that area. So not a blighted area per se, but it was still pretty low occupancy. And so for about 3 to 3.5 years, my main role there was to just try to fill those locations. So I didn't get to spend a lot of time on development, but it was mostly filling it in and trying to get traffic to that area. It depends on what time you ask me that. In 2019, I would say 100% of it was just fill. Now it's probably about 50-50. So a nice mix.
And you've also created a culture over there. And this morning we had a meeting with the merchants, and it was probably one of the best meetings I've ever been to with the New Orleans Square merchants. Can you talk on what those meetings have done? Sure.
Yeah, that was again part of the revitalization program. They wanted to have a way to continue talks with all the merchants, and so we have monthly meetings there. We have decent attendance. We certainly want more to attend, but we have decent attendance. Today was just everyone was participating. Everyone was talking about their events that they might have and how to collaborate on those events and how to make them maybe even bigger and better. And gosh, if we're having an event on June the 1st and you're having an event on June the 1st, how about we combine those events? Kind of a novel concept, but communicating is as you can tell, the key to that. And in the past, with this, without that element of a meeting or a way to communicate, they didn't have that. So they would just show up. Hey, there'd be an event. What do you know? There's another event going on over there. Oh, well, we'll just do the best we can. So extremely excited about that. Real proud of our merchants who are kind of stepping up and really wanting to do that collaboration, and can't wait to see what's happening in the future.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's amazing to have watched over the past 4 years just the complete change over there from the road construction, from what you can see just by driving through, to the culture that's kind of happened with the merchants and them working together like that. It's awesome.
Well, my cohort is can be humble, and he had a hand in the new Crunch Fitness Center that's opened, and they're busting at the seams, and really, economic development has a snowball effect, and so that one quadrant where Crunch Fitness went in, I think is really affected all three quadrants, and Steve has done a tremendous job there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Brent, you're over the Rose District.
It's over me.
It controls your life in a lot of ways. So you have similar opportunities where you get to fill vacant spaces there. It's just it's very fast paced at times. You've brought some amazing businesses to Main Street.
All the business, but particularly downtowns, the ebb and flow of business is such that come and leave. It's small, being a small business person as I was, it's very, very difficult to make it in anything. You better have a good product. You better, and in addition to that, small business these days deal with online shopping. I think we'll always have brick and mortars, but the challenge in the Rose District, really the biggest challenge in the Rose District, is we really don't have the inventory to accommodate all the opportunities we have to bring businesses down there. They want a certain square footage. They, if you're a restaurant, you want a vent hood in place and that sort of thing. Post-pandemic, there was something like 5 spaces available in the downtown area. And in the 5 years I've been here, and Steve and I have been here, those spaces, that's the most spaces actually available at one time. And it was a little bit pandemic related, I believe. Mm-hmm. But in the Rose District, we kind of kid about everybody wants to be in the Rose District. And, it's we have opportunities, and it's a bit frustrating at times. You have no place to put them.
Mm-hmm. And there's been a lot of announcements this year. What's new? What's coming to Rose District?
Well, I'll take up the entire hour. We really have had a lot of new businesses come in. One recent exciting business that came in is Wilder Brothers. It's an outdoor adventure and accessories type place. Really a super cool store. We've had Studio Records, 46 Trading Companies, a super neat store that sells a lot of Western wear type, but it's not the only thing they wear. Magnolia Soap has done extremely well. Miranda's Cupcake Cafe has gone in. We're getting Tacos Mezcal, where the former Rattlesnake restaurant was. Very excited about that. They're talking about doing a rooftop. And then probably the most exciting project that we have right now in the pipeline is a project called Native Spaces, in which the renovation right in the middle of our downtown, the renovation of two buildings built in 1906 are getting renovated. They're going up with one building. There'll be a 50-seat glassarium up there that's going to be a wedding venue. There'll be a short-term rental up there, 2 more event centers, co-working space on bottom. Next door, in what was formerly Ruffles and Bows, will be Savoy Restaurant, and we're pretty excited about that. So it's fun.
Got to get those cinnamon rolls. It's going to be huge.
I could miss a cinnamon roll or two, honestly.
We're all going to gain a few by the cinnamon rolls being down here, but there's plenty going on in New Orleans Square too. But
before we go there,
yeah.
This guy always brags on me, and he needs to be bragged on a little bit, because I took over a team that was 1-11, and he took on a team that was 11-1. So if I win 5 games and go to a minor bowl, I'm a hero. Mm-hmm. If he wins 5 games and goes to a bowl, he gets fired. So he's done an amazing job. The Rose District merchants are unique. They're different than others, and he knows that. And he understands that, and so he's done an amazing job of getting that place filled.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, Rose District is it's crazy. It's just like the thing that can't stop. It keeps going and going, and it's the thing we send everyone to. I'm the tourism side of things, and every single person who visits, I'm like, go check out the Rose District, Go see Main Street. There's a lot to see down there. But I send them to New Orleans Square where it sees fit, because there's some nice things going on down there. There's some new businesses that are exciting. What's going on down there?
Absolutely. Yeah, so the Brent mentioned it, but we had 2 eyesores down there. Honestly, the old Reese's building was just an eyesore. It was vacant for quite a while, as well as the old El Chico. And both of those have been filled by godsend businesses, Crunch Fitness and Handmade. And Handmade was formerly Handmade by Amber, which was a food truck. And she took the risk and jumped right into a brick and mortar and has done amazing work over there. She's killing it. And so same thing, if you want to get your cinnamon roll and your sweet treats going on there and your coffee, and a great place to just hang out and do your homework if you're a college kid or whatever. Great place to just relax and do your thing. But those two places have kind of spurred other things that are happening there. There's not a lot of super new businesses there. We did open up just 2 or 3 days ago a new cell phone repair store there. The Gadget Doctor, I believe is his name, and he's upstairs on the southwest quadrant. Does great work, what I understand, and a good guy, wants to get involved in the community, so we're looking forward to working with him. Beyond those two, there's always same thing. People come, people go, a little bit here, a little bit there. There's more expansions going on. So Paloma's Plants went from I think it was 1,100 square feet. If I'm probably lying there, maybe it was less than that, but to a lot of square feet, 10,000 square feet. So she almost, and she's going to do more things than just plants. And so same thing, we're kind of looking forward to seeing what she has in store for the future. She'll have kind of a Pinot's palette type of an approach to plants. So you're not painting, you're doing plants, and you're doing that with someone and with a group. And so kind of a fun little atmosphere there, and a little event center. So she's got it going on, and really, really excited for her. Believe it or not, there's Triumph Gym has expanded with another gym right across the street. So they're expanding. Gene Barber with the theater has some new and exciting things going on. He kind of actually downsized to upsize, if that makes sense. So he's getting smaller, but offering a more I don't know what you want to call it, a more effective type of a business. So still has the theater, and he still has the axe throwing company that's across the street. So between those two things, brings a little bit of entertainment to the district. And same thing, Gene's got a bunch of ideas, and so we're anxious to see what's going on and help promote that for him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, New Orleans Square has kind of become the entrepreneurial square of the city, because Rose District, you need to be a little bit more established, it seems like, at this point, to survive on Main Street. But New Orleans Square has become this small business startup area, which is very cool to watch and very fun to see. And it's nice that a city can have both, within how many miles they are from each other, 2-3 miles from each other.